Good morning, everyone. So we are from Cygnet Digital. We're talking about ensuring that how we achieve a 99.999% uptime. That's almost 5 minutes of downtime a year. Before we go into that, let's just talk about some of the incidents that we have recently seen. About a week ago, the Facebook went down for 2.5 hours. Almost lost them about 18% of their global market share, 18 billion of their global market share. Same thing with TikTok. One of the data security problems, data privacy problems, GDPR fined them $345 million. Next come to AT&T. Outage, US was the cellular network of the US, it completely broke down. Slack was something that we all are happy that it was down, but again, that's a problem for the organizations. What we have seen recently is about each data security breach, it tends to somewhere around $4.5 million for an organization. And with that type of money, an organization can completely break. So identifying all of these out of the incidents that we have seen and what we have done for our organizations are some of the critical issues that CIOs and CTOs should take care of. The first and the foremost, again, the legacy system problem. Almost every one of us have faced that problem where because of the downtimes that we don't get, because of the support that we don't get from our applications, we are not able to migrate the systems on timely basis, which can lead to a major problem at the end. Second is a scalability and performance issue. We are all a global organization now. It's not just one geography that we cater to. There are multiple users, multiple areas from where the users come in. And if the application is not scalable and does not reach the performance enough, the span that a user has is, again, a limited time that we have. Cybersecurity and regulatory, again, a global organization, we have to cater to a lot of cybersecurity and privacy issues that comes as you go to different geographies, it always increases, and we have to cater to those requirements as well. Now, cloud adoption is something that is very critical. I'll just give one of the examples that we have seen recently. We went into a recent geography, a new geography. They had their data localization law, and because of that, we were not able to use our regular cloud service providers. So we have to improvise, get a new one, and get those things implemented. Now, getting a new cloud service provider, it is always a hassle to integrate it with the existing ones as well. Right? So the cloud adoption, being a hybrid cloud, is one of the challenges that we have seen. Peoples and OEMs, again, most of the times when it comes to a CIO or CISO, or even a CTO, at the time of disaster, we become a ping pong ball. We bounce from one OEM to another, ensuring that the issue has been resolved properly, but it is always, they just transfer the hands, they shake off the things that they are already working on, and we have to identify that problem. And finally, a customer experience and digital transformation. So with the customers that we are working with, be it onto any of the industries that they are, as the time span has reduced, we have to ensure that the experience that they get is proper, and the applications are also digitally transformed on a regular basis. Now, out of all of these, what we have identified are some of the points that are very critical for the organizations, and we have derived those into 3 specific aspects. It is an engine that we have created that is for optimize, enhance, and transform. Now, again, we are not talking about a big bang shift into the organization, but an approach that can be taken to achieve all of these things is something that is important. Coming to the optimize cycle, when it comes to optimizing your IT infra and operation cost, it is one of the most important points, because what we have seen recently in many of the organizations is, on the name of optimization, they reduce the controls have kept onto the system. So we've seen people who try to optimize their system by compromising on the DR strategy that they are working on, or by compromising onto the security and performance features that are there in the organization. So that is something that is important. With optimization, it is always important to try and achieve a 99.999% uptime. Now, again, a lot of nines that are there, but with the global scenarios, it is important to achieve this type of uptimes. Even an organization for whom a system is down for an hour or two can be a complete deal breaker because there is a lot of competition out there. Enhancing the systems. Security, again, one of the most important concerns that we have. When it comes to the security and the data protection, as well as the privacy, people tend to have limited resources implemented at each stage. Now, we try to identify the points where which type of resource you are using, where you are using it, and how you can optimize that particular part. So not keeping a network and a web firewall to analyze the same data is something that we help achieve the organizations. And finally, managed IT service. So again, we all are experts in our own domains, but an external look onto what we are implementing, how we are implementing it. Is it something that is industry best practice that can be done? Is something very important. Once you have enhanced it, again, it's a time for transformation. Transforming everything that you have, implementing AI as good as you can is one of the most critical points that we have. AI is not just getting something on the automated side, but to get a meaningful data and meaningful information without major human intervention is something that is important. And finally, and center of excellence. So we work in an organization where we try to implement center of excellence for each and every aspect that we have. Now, the center of excellence team usually helps the business as well as the digital or the technical functions to identify the problems on the business level, be it onto the business logic or the functional side, and correlate it with the existing IT trends. So that's something that is very critical. Now, identifying all of these things, we have derived some of the case studies that we have worked on ourselves, be it internal to our systems or external to our clients, and understanding that can help you as well. Now, this is one of the major issues that we faced. Again, the system that I'm talking about caters to about 19% of the invoicing traffic in India, so that's a lot. What actually happened is one of the hardware has a problem of split brain, is when the system is not able to identify which one is a primary system and which one is a secondary system, and it goes into its own loop. Because of that, the users were not able to connect. Hopefully, we had an alternate AWS setup already ready, and we were able to migrate the customers over there. But if that was not the case, it was about 8 hours of downtime. Again, one of the OEM problems, and because of the internal communications, we were not able to get it resolved in a timely manner. What were the actual challenges? So again, with this, as I said, it is about 19% of the India's invoice traffic that this system caters to. The volume is very high. Because of the data center that we were using, there were a lot of OEMs which created problems into that communication aspect. Major licensing and CapEx cost. So again, licensed softwares, getting the database, the servers, the supporting infrastructure ready is something that is costly for the organizations. High tech debt. This is an application in which even a 5-minute downtime can lead problems to about 4,000 to 5,000 trucks, and they are stuck on the road. So there was not even a time to get us a 5-minute downtime to get the things upgraded. And finally, if you're having your own data center, if it is physical, it is very hard to implement a far DR, near DR practice for that particular system. So those were the primary challenges that we saw. We moved completely to AWS. Now, the movement that we did was a live movement. We used the AWS DMS technology and get everything moved to the AWS infrastructure. With that, we were able to achieve the requirements onto a high TPS. So we were able to achieve about 10K TPS onto our application, and that helped it grow a lot. The architecture was completely changed. It was being changed from a monolithic architecture into the data center to a complete microservice-based architecture, which reduced the problem of getting a downtime. So with that, we were able to achieve a downtime of less than 3 minutes during our upgradation. And with that, we were able to upgrade it a lot quicker. Utilizing 3 availability zones. So again, with a cloud service provider, you can utilize multiple availability zones and multiple regions very easily. With that, we were able to derive our near DR, far DR strategy. One of our data centers goes down, the other 3 would be able to cater to those requirements. And finally, MS SQL to Postgres migration. Now, Postgres does serve all the features that are there in MS SQL with a fraction of cost, right? So whenever there is a cost requirement, we were able to achieve that. With all of these, the cost reduced by 30%, even going on cloud. Downtime, as I said, reduced by up to 3 minutes. And there was a single-click implementation now for all the security features that we can imagine of, because cloud service providers comes with their own benefits onto the security and performance side, and you can get those things implemented very quickly. Hand over to Milin, just for the next case studies. Milin.
Thank you, Anuj. Morning, leaders. Morning. So I'll try to cover a couple of case studies. I'm sure most of you being in IT industry in your professional career, you might have gone through one or more digital transformation. And the problem which we are talking about, be it stability, cost optimization, et cetera, you have gone through all this, right? I'm trying to cover up a couple of use cases around that line. So the first case is about one of the fastest growing BNPL, online digital lending company. They had a couple of problems when we started working with them. Their first challenge was that they're taking almost on an average 2 months time to onboard their partners or doing any third-party integrations. Second challenge was in less than a year time, there are 2 data breaches and their existence was being questioned that if they are not secure, there is a challenge. The third problem was their business was growing, but their infra cost was growing faster than their profitability. So they came with these 3 problems. And we again went with a phase-wise approach. So first we worked on the security part. We looked at their system. We did VAPT. We fine-tuned their applications, their infra. We put enhanced monitoring system. We put certain proactive alerts. So we have certain SOP, what we did for our real-time application, and we implemented those checks and balances for them. And in last 2.5 years, they have 0 data breach. On an average, we see around 50 proactive alerts coming up every month. So we do have system in place, we do get alerts, we are able to act on it, and 0 data breach. Right? Then they were able to focus on business and all. The second challenge we addressed is, instead of completely, because it was a legacy monolithic architecture, we didn't want to suggest a big bang approach. So we looked into, we took a phase-wise approach. First, we worked on 2 critical modules, partner onboarding and integration module. We looked at those modules. We used microservice architecture with the API first approach. We transformed them. Post that, on an average development time came down from 2 months to 2 weeks. Now they are able to onboard more partners, able to do integration with the payment gateway or any other system, right? Overall, after this implementation, their sales went up by 23.7%, which is a conservative number. And time to market, they say it's improved by 3x. After that, we looked into that infra part. They had multiple OEM, on-prem implementations. We looked at it, and wherever there were licensed software, if we are able to replace it with the open source, we did that. And then even we were able to club some of the OEM to a single OEM, so it's easy to manage. And then we moved them to AWS infra because that was probably more suitable for them, right? By doing that, their infra cost came down to 35%. So that's what we did for them. How we did is, so our approach for them was more of started with a consultative approach. We looked into their system. We did something called tech due diligence. We did that for them. We gave them the challenges, issues, etc. And they realized that we understand their problem, and they started giving us one assignment after another, and that's what we did. So that's what it's about. We can talk about it later at our Cygnet booth. The second case study in similar line, the fintech client having operations in North America and Europe region, they had a challenge that they wanted to do very quick drops to production. Every 2 weeks they wanted to do a drops, but they were barely able to do a drops once in 2 months. And when they do the drops, they have one or other issues. We looked into the challenges, issues, and we realized that they didn't have any testing strategy. They had around 1,200 plus use cases or test cases, and they didn't have any testing strategy. So we worked with them to implement this testing strategy. Then we realized that organization believes that their QA has to have functional expertise more than the technical expertise. But strangely, the tools which they were using to automate the test cases were more towards technical people like Selenium or something. So we helped them finding out the right tool. In this particular case, we gave our own low-code, no-code test automation tool, which is we call Testing Wiz. They use it. It was easy to train functional people on that, and they were able to automate the cases. And then 1 week time came down to 6 hours. Then we started again working on their other part. The typical challenge, which some of you might have seen, they had a desktop application. They put a wrapper around it for the web services. They said now it's a web app, and then deployed it on the cloud, and so we are cloud enabled. They had huge infra issues. They had performance issues. Infra issue in terms of cost was very high. Performance was pathetic. When we looked at it and we told them that it's not, don't need to go for cloud enabled, you have to go for cloud native, right? So we worked with them to enhance their, re-architect their system. Phase-wise, slowly we took the modules and moved them from monolithic to microservices architecture, right? While doing that, we also realized the MS SQL to Postgre. But again, it's not that a lot of tools available. You do lift and shift, it doesn't work out. You probably have to see the nuances so that performance doesn't get impacted and you get the right result, right? So we looked into those parts, we moved them on that, and at the end, they had around 52% plus performance improvement. Just to note, one of the consulting company they went before us, they did a consulting with a $50,000 fee for a month, and they said it will take 9 months to improve the performance. That particular part we were able to achieve in 3 weeks with the 2 people. So that's about this one. Why and how we are able to do it. So we are Cygnet Digital. We have 2 verticals. One is the product vertical, where we have products on the text technology side, fintech side, as well as we have AI vision product called Glip, which is for intelligent document processing. We do a lot of stuff on automation with our automation with RPA, as well as low-code, no-code testing with tool. And then we have digital signature solution similar to DocuSign. So those are our products, globally used by our clients. We face all these problems which probably you guys are facing at your company. We try to fix at our place. We learn from that how we can migrate legacy to modernize, how we do that modernization, how to use AI/ML, how to optimize things. We do all these things for our product. We learn that, and then we realize we should pass it to our services clients also. And that's what we do it for our services client. So on services side, primarily, we work on the digital application or product engineering. We do work as a testing as a service. Then we do have enterprise segment where we primarily SAP or MS CRM or Salesforce, we provide services. And then we have innovation team, which looks at the latest and the greatest technology, be it AI/ML, be it LLM. And then we see how we can use this for our regular application, how we can get benefit out of it, right? That's what we do. Just to note that how we are able to achieve, as a company in probably globally, we have around 750,000 companies, and only 1,100 company has a CMM level 3. We are one of them. So we are 0.15% company globally who has those certifications. And by process, we make sure that we achieve the desired results. And when we grow or when we help our client to grow, we are able to use standard processes and able to achieve it. Thank you.